Welcome to the podcast. We do recover with Jared Miller, your host.
And I'm Dr. Terry Sellers, your co-host.
This is a podcast about recovery from addiction.
We want to talk about what successful recovery can look like.
Brought to you by Diamond Detox, Wasatch Crest, Team Recovery, Rise Up Subs, and the Hilton Garden Inn.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 1.
Look up. You see? I told you the timer would reset.
You're the man.
I know. Nobody else notices,
you're
but
the man.
I just wanted to point that out and disrupt your flow for the morning.
Well, thank you for that. Everybody else, welcome to episode 163. Today's title is going to be a message from yours truly, Jared Miller. I think today, I really, it's going to be kind of a reflection of the past 5 years. We've been doing this for 5 years now. Also talking about kind of the current and the future, really. I also have taken different messages, whether they were questions, comments, concerns, over the last 5 years that people have sent to me either through direct message on social media, email, et cetera, and I want to read some of them and just kind of answer back to some of them. As I've taken a moment to really reflect on the past 5 years, one of the things that I really think moving forward would be beneficial is just checking in with the audience. I appreciate people taking the time to write messages or share their thoughts and really kind of slowing down the interviews and stories of recovery and slowing down some of the topics and just making sure that we have an opportunity to connect with the listeners. So those are the intentions for today. I'm also going to share, this is the very first time in 5 years I've ever done an episode all by myself. So just future forgiveness. I'm asking for some future forgiveness. If there's periods where I'm scrolling through my notes or et cetera, just hang tight with me. So did you have a comment, Donovan?
No, I just heard your phone go off and I was going to give you a bad time. After doing 170 episodes, you should know by now you've typed your phone off.
I do have Sean Donovan here to antagonize me and have a good time with me too. This should be fun. Very first and foremost, I really wanted to just take the opportunity and share a message with the listeners. Honestly, today's going to be some reflection and some intention. And when we first started doing this podcast 5 years ago, me and the doc were talking and our intention was 100% just to share a message of hope, just to be able to give people some hope that if you're in early recovery, or as we're going to get to in some of the comments that I've put together today, even if you're still in active addiction, like continue to listen, right? Like that. That's what this podcast was originally 100% for, was experience, strength, and hope. So my direct message to people out there who are listening, if you're a loved one or yourself are still in active addiction, seek out some help. That's my message to the person still suffering out there. I've had the opportunity to work in the field of addiction recovery, whatever title you want to put on it. I call it human suffering for the last 5 years. And recently, I've moved from being a clinical counselor and a clinical director for the last few years into a new role, doing community outreach coordinator. And I feel like a lot of that has naturally happened because of this podcast, quite frankly. You know, the intention wasn't to make money on this podcast. It was really to spread a message of hope. And through that, a lot of really cool things have happened. I was telling Sean the other day, and so I want to get to kind of some of those things and talk about some of those things. But the very first and most important, just like in the rooms, the newcomer is the most important. If you're out there and you're new to recovery, if you're still frankly actively using, you're the most important person. And I just wanted to share, reach out. You can actually now reach out to me directly. I have a number that you can call. And that's going to be put up here on the podcast. That number is going to be 385-644-1500. Again, if you or your loved one needs help, the first call is always the hardest, right? It's that, first of all, it's kind of admitting to yourself that you could use the help, and some of us struggle with that, but it's always the hardest to make that first call. So you can talk to me directly. If out of 162 episodes you haven't figured out that I'm not going to judge you, I know all the people, all the players, all the places. I can definitely get you some help. That number again is 385-644-1500 for anybody listening that wants to talk to me directly. And that's my role now. My role really with Wasatch Crest is helping people find treatment or counseling or whatever it is, community support groups, whatever it is that you're willing to do and what you need to do. That is my job. My job is literally to know all the people, know all the players, help you find what options are going to work best for you. And frankly, that's not always what you would maybe think of. That's not always the typical detox residential. I've talked to some people recently that frankly maybe just struggle with binge drinking on the weekends, and they're seeking, maybe a support group, seeking maybe an individual counselor or a recovery coach. There are a lot of different options out there. And just so you know, it's a confidential and a professional phone call. I'm not going to try to steer you in any direction. My job is to help you find the path that's going to work for you with some honesty, right? And with some intention in there. So, yeah. Speaking of that, part of this change that I'm talking about is we have some new sponsors on this podcast. We have some new sponsors that I'm super excited about. One that you guys probably have heard of if you listened to the last few episodes is Diamond Detox. Let me tell you about my friends at Diamond Detox. You guys have met Jordan. Jordan Birmingham is the owner. He's very hands-on with his organization. They have their tagline here, and I'll read it while Sean's showing the website. Let Diamond Detox be the first step on your path to hope, help, and healing. Call their free and confidential number at 385-988-5332 or visit their website, diamonddetox.com. Again, that's one of many resources that I can help you get in touch with. The cool thing about Diamond Detox is a lot of the people that work there are in recovery themselves, frankly. Their whole goal is to really just people helping people, getting you in the door, getting you comfortable, making it so that you can get biomedically stable before you either return home or continue the treatment model or return back to your community support group or your individual therapist, whatever that looks like. I frankly really trust these guys. I know them personally. I know multiple people that work there. Like I talk to them at least once a week, and I'd highly, highly recommend their services for anybody who is needing or has a loved one who needs a medical detox. Frankly, we were very intentional when we sought out sponsors. I put a post out letting people know that sponsorships were open, but we also sought out directly some sponsors, and Diamond Detox is one of them. We appreciate them sponsoring the podcast. The other one that I really want to talk to you about that's new and near and dear to my heart because I've already kind of talked to you about them. Wasatch Crest. Wasatch Crest is absolutely a beautiful facility. I say a facility. They have 4 mountainside facilities, and they offer a full continuum of care. They have residential treatment, they have residential treatment, day treatment, in-person and virtual IOP, transitional living, adventure therapy, family support, alumni aftercare. What really sets them apart is their elevated treatment approach. They separate men and women. They each have their own specific program that's tailored to their needs, basically. And it's backed up by a passionate staff of over 50 professionals, a lot of them in recovery themselves. That's a theme that you heard earlier with Diamond Detox. And they truly believe that every person that walks in their doors has a chance to build lasting recovery. Give them a call. It's the number I gave you earlier, 385-644-1500, or visit their website at wasatchcresttreatment.com. I personally have been up to Wasatch Crest. I've seen all 4 of their mountainside facilities. They're absolutely beautiful. Jim, the owner, big shout out to him. The guy has a huge heart. I had the opportunity really when I first started with Wasatch Crest to just sit on some of the calls, the team calls, and the guy never says no. Admissions, community outreach people. All the time we have people who reach out who are in a hard spot. Maybe they only have a Medicaid policy. And Jim's always a guy to be like, what can we do to help? Which is amazing. Amazing that you have an owner who really leads from his heart. So we really are excited about Wasatch Crest coming on board. We hope that it's a long partnership with Wasatch Crest. And the last one, the one that I'm pretty excited to talk about. Also, we have our other two, but the newest one is Team Recovery. Now, Team Recovery is a little bit different. Team Recovery, these guys have taken kind of the smarts, the tech, all the cool stuff that's going on in 2025, and they basically build custom apps. For all types of treatment providers. It doesn't have to specifically be substance abuse. If you have, if you're a private practice doctor, they can build you an app. The cool thing about an app is it helps out with admissions. It helps out with the referral process, increases client retention. People are staying with you. They can check in and out through the app. They can reach, their providers on the app through messaging, and they can track post outcomes like, how are people getting better? Like, what does the alumni look like if it is a treatment program specifically? And these guys offer way more than that. It's not just an app. A lot of the individuals that work at Team Recovery have experience working in the field of treatment, and they do consulting, and they're going to help you integrate that app into your treatment center or private practice or whatever your agency looks like to really help you get set up for success. So you can contact them at teamrecovery.io, or you can give them a call at 866-824-2281. And I know a lot of this so far has been talking about the new sponsors. And let me tell you this, if that kind of rubs you the wrong way or you have an opinion on that, I would love to hear it. Send me a message. We're going to get to some messages later in this episode. But I just want you to know this. This is not possible without organizations like the ones that I just mentioned being willing to step in, spend a little bit of money to be able to spread a message of hope to people. And yeah, sure, they are all correlated with the theme of this podcast, right? But absolutely, their heart's in the right spot. They want to be a part of helping people helping people. So check them out. Take down their phone numbers. Later in the middle of this thing, they're gonna have some time to share their messages. Put it down in your cell phone. You never know when you need a resource. So that's all I'm going to say about them. Let's get back to kind of the podcast. But again, I really appreciate them because this would not be possible without them. And I do. I absolutely vet our sponsors and want to make sure that we have good sponsors. Speaking of sponsors, part of the change that I've kind of gone through lately and the moment of reflection that I want to talk about on here is in the past 5 years, it's been kind of cool because I've had some staple sponsorships. I just want to take a moment and really thank our past sponsors. For a long time, for almost the entire 5 years, except for out of 9 months, Steps Recovery Centers has been a sponsor of this podcast. And that is pretty cool. When I first started this, it started with a body mic and me with my laptop. And frankly, I didn't know what I was doing. The sound quality was terrible. I just had a vision and I wanted to make it happen. And I came in and met with Denovan. You remember this, Sean? And I said to him, I said, "Hey man, I want to do this podcast." And what was the advice you gave me?
Stop everything you're doing and let me do it for you.
Basically, yeah. And so I went on social media and asked if anybody would be willing to sponsor it. And it was just so cool that within like 5 minutes, a representative from Steps reached out and they were willing to go on a 5-year ride with me. So my heart is totally full with them. Appreciate them. Great facility. Outside of that other 9-month stint was High Desert. And I worked for Mike. Let me tell you something about Mike Keenan. He's been a guest on here before, and that guy is one of the best human beings, just for no reason other than to be a good human being that I've ever met. So we really appreciate those past past sponsors, and we hope that the sponsors that we have now will be with us for a while. Relationships are a big thing to me and very important to me. So, okay, couple things that I want to get into. First of all, as I think back on this whole journey that I've been on, this thing all got started during COVID, right? In 2020,
Sorry.
if you look back, man, on our like first episodes, I think episode 1 is the Doc, my co-host, my day one guy, in a lot of ways, a guy who has mentored me and really helped me in so many ways, came on and shared his story. And there's glass partitions.
Let me see if I can.
How do I
might be able
say
to-
that?
Yeah, partitions. It was
There's
the,
plexiglass partitions between us because this thing got rocking and rolling during COVID.
Let's see if I can pull some of this up here from.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm going to see if I can. Will this work? There we go.
I'm gonna cringe when I see myself.
I'm just gonna fast forward here and see what we got going on here.
For those of you who are
that's
watching
right.
this,
Let me bring up the audio.
I have found in my 6-year journey the thing I wanted this podcast to be about. Is
Okay, here's the same thing you're saying today. Anyway.
look at that guy though. I was so nervous and so tense, and I really hope that I've kind of settled into this a little bit more.
Oh yeah. So was this just you? Wait a second. This is just you. You're saying that this is the first time?
That one never aired.
It never did?
I never put it on, man, because I was so nervous about it, and I felt like I clumsied my way through it.
Let's take a look at Terry's and see what we have here. I'm just curious.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So that's right, because we were mid COVID, and I was trying to keep things open, so we got like the plexiglass to accommodate all of that stuff.
In the weights.
And then that's right. Those were my first attempt of the mic stands, because I'm like, those are like, $15 stands, but the mics were heavy enough that we had to add 5, 10, 15 pounds of weight to compensate like a 1 pound microphone so that it wouldn't fall over. So and what do we have today? I got my $100 mic arms now, so we've improved.
And you know what? I feel like part of the podcast success back then was the world needed connection. Like we were in a time back then where everybody was isolated, right? And this was a way to really reach out to people and let people feel like they were a part of something recovery related. And so it's just kind of cool that we were birthed.
Oh, that's right. I made you move because you used to be on the right-hand side. Now you're on the left-hand side. God, you look so much younger. What happened to you? Got some city miles on you the last 5 years.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's back when I used to lift weights too. Now I just am terrible at golf, but we won't get into all that. That's back when I was trying to look like an Arnold. Everybody get down. Here comes the chopper. Oh, yeah, it was good memories looking back. And one of the cool things about this podcast that we talked about is I remember back when I first moved to St. George in 2019, I had a hard time. I wanted to work in treatment. I wanted to feel like I was a part of something bigger than myself. And at the time, frankly, I was driving like double side dump. I was working in construction, and it's just kind of cool to see in 5 years the progress that it's made. And I feel like I was invited onto a podcast for the first time as a guest, and that whole thing just changed my whole world. And after I really was able to show some vulnerability and share my story and then not be ashamed of it and be willing to talk about it with other people, it just became a whole thing. So it's crazy looking back and thinking of those days. What's kind of happened throughout there, though, is the cool thing about this podcast is it's given me the ability to connect with a lot of people. Like, I absolutely honor and cherish anybody who is brave enough to come on a podcast that's shared all across the United States, up into Canada. I mean, we have downloads all across the globe, and share their mess and in a way that becomes a message. And that was a beautiful thing. And it took us a while to figure it out. Like when we first started, we did 30 minutes. I was talking about this with my coworker, Darcy, the other day. She was one of the first ones we had on. It was 30 minutes. And afterwards we both were like, this, we got to go longer than 30 minutes. and honestly, some of the guests come on and it may have felt like a message of dope, not a message of hope, but we were figuring it out. I was figuring it out, how to be a good host and how to fast forward them through some of their story. Yeah, it's been a journey. So again, just at this point, I want to express my gratitude for anybody who's been willing to come on, anybody who's willing to share, all the people that I've been able to connect with in a personal, professional way. It's been amazing. It's really given me the opportunity, many opportunities that frankly I probably would never have. And it gives me an opportunity to really get to know people in a way that I don't ever think I would have before. You know, the cool thing about a podcast is you set aside time. For us, it's 50 something minutes to really sit down and like hear somebody and hear their story and connect with them in a way that outside of a speaker meeting, I don't really know how you get to know somebody that well unless you're trapped in a car with them for an hour or 3 hour ride. And a lot of times nowadays you're either listening to a podcast like this one or you're listening to music. And so it's a really cool way to just really get to know people and get to know people's heart. So that's been an absolute blessing. Thinking back to the shift in kind of slowing this down today and being willing to come on and talk about different changes and things that are going on in my life is recently I worked really hard to get to a point where I got my license to be able to be a counselor. And recently that has changed, and it's been a beautiful thing. You know, when everything first happened, I was a little bit confused. I was a little bit frustrated. I had some type of feelings around it. And as I look back, it's crazy how sometimes your higher power can do things for you that you couldn't always do for yourself. One thing about being a counselor is you're in there. You're in there with the nitty-gritty. You're hearing people's challenges and the things that they've gone through and the traumas, and you're really just trying to help them flush out all of that shame and all of that guilt. And after a while, you know, like I said, you know, for the past 4 or 5 years, it can get heavy. And not that I don't enjoy it. I absolutely love it. But this opportunity that I've got to be able to be a community outreach coordinator, which basically just means my job is to get my phone to ring to help find people places, has been a breath of fresh air. It really has. It's been amazing. And I don't know, it was like a week or two ago, I put out a post on social media just with a headshot picture and you know, my kind of a resume type post, what I've done in my new position. And the amount of love that I got from that was frankly incredible. A lot of people that I've worked with saw it and commented and shared how I had impacted their life. And frankly, it made me emotional, you know, and I shared it to some resources on social media, but then it just organically started becoming more and more shared just naturally by people, which I hope really speaks to the amount of trust in this space that I have and the amount of relationships and connections that I have in this space. You know, one of the tough things about substance abuse and mental health is it's not like a broken arm. There's a stigma around it. And so I think being a trusted resource in this space is vital. And I frankly was honored and moved to see that a lot of people were willing to share my contact information and let people know that I am a resource. I love everybody that works in this space. I've had almost everybody on here. You know, we've had Ty Empey from Hope Rising. You know, we've had, we've had just about everybody on here. I'm trying to think of Ryan Park from Premier. We've had people on from Lionsgate. We've had people on from all the treatment centers down here in Southern Utah, and it's just been pretty cool. I feel like as far as that goes, I hope that this continues to be a resource for people and an opportunity where people can come and share and have it be a good thing. So we're about halfway through with this Jared just kind of free-flowing podcast. So far it's been resources and me just kind of rambling on. I appreciate you hanging in there. When we get back, we're going to address some messages from people over the last 5 years and get my responses from them. We're going to take a break. Here's our sponsor lineup for you.
You are listening to We Do Recover with Jared Miller and co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. We'll be right back after this short break with more of We Do Recover with Jared Miller. Brought to you by Diamond Detox, Wasatch Crest, Team Recovery, Rise Up Subs, and the Hilton Garden Inn.
The team at Diamond Detox is compassionate, helpful, and trained to support every step of the healing journey. Your loved one's path to a healthier, happier life starts with a free and easy 20 to 30-minute assessment over the phone or a few questions submitted online on the Diamond Detox website. Assessments and admissions occur 7 days a week, depending on availability. To begin the path to recovery, visit diamonddetox.com or call 385-988-5332.
Hi, my name is Jim Huffman. I'm the founder and CEO of Wasatch Crest Treatment Services. We're located in Heber City, Utah, amongst the beautiful Wasatch Mountains. We offer a full continuum of care, and what that means is that, you know, we can support our clients and their families from day one all the way through their entire recovery journey. Our goal here at Wasatch Crest is for this to be your last time in treatment and the beginning of a life in recovery that will bring you joy and fulfillment and a sense of healing to you and your family and to those who love you.
To learn more about Wasatch Crest, call me, Jared, directly at 385-644-1500 and check out the website at wasatchcresttreatment.com.
So we've made developing an app very affordable, and we do it really quick.
We are the only mobile app development company in the behavioral health space and the only constant throughout a client's entire life cycle, from pre-admissions to 10 years sober.
Now with new technology, we can develop a high-quality app in a fraction of the time. Now that we've done this with hundreds of partners all across the country, we can get this done within 6 weeks. An hour of your time is all it requires per week over that time, and just like that, your app's done. Developed on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
On the front end, we know we can help increase conversions. While the patient's with you, we work on retention and engagement, and moving on into post-treatment, we collect a lot of readmissions and referrals.
Get your agency an app. Give them a call at 866-824-2281 or visit their website at teamrecovery.io.
We welcome you back to We Do Recover with Jared Miller, co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. Brought to you by Diamond Detox, Wasatch Crest, Team Recovery, Rise Up Subs, and the Hilton Garden Inn. And now with part 2 of our podcast, Jared Miller and Dr. Terry Sellers.
And go!
And here we are.
Start talking now. Now.
Thanks, Donovan.
Waiting on you.
Thanks, Donovan.
Any second now.
This is great for the reflection because I feel like we're back in the day when you actually, you know, had to do that.
I know you got on the air. Hi, my name's Merritt Filler.
I've always been terrible with names, right?
Drugs. We're talking about drugs today.
We're talking about not doing drugs.
Oh yeah,
today.
that too.
Yeah.
You know, you've come a long way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So that was our lineup, our sponsors that we got. It's been amazing to be able to have people come on board that I genuinely like, believe in, love these guys, have relationships with all of them. So the cool thing about this is, you know, you, the listener, can have a very, very direct impact on our resources by reaching out to them, telling your friends about them, you know, sharing them as a resource. That's kind of the whole idea of bringing sponsors on around this topic. So kind of final thoughts, and then I'm going to get into some questions, comments, concerns, things that people have written. Thank you.
They roted. I don't know. That's not a word.
Man, this is an epic one. that people have written into me over the past 5 years, and I just kind of came up with, I threw out some of the ones that were just absolutely ridiculous because some people, you know, whatever, you can call me an idiot and you can make fun of me and that's all good. And
I thought we got over that between you and I.
Nah,
that was somebody
that
else.
was you?
What? No.
Okay.
No.
All right. it's always funny too, because it's people that you know, like it's a fake profile. But I got some good ones that I want to share with you. And frankly, I want to answer, and I apologize that I haven't answered them earlier. And this is going to be a staple moving forward. Like you write in, go to our Facebook page, or send us an email at WeDoRecoverWithJaredMiller@gmail.com. I know it's a long mouthful, but please write us. Give us comments, concerns. I'll be honest, the one that I pulled from the most is Facebook. If you go onto Facebook and you watch this episode, we always have a link for you to message us. Continue to do that for those of you that are doing it. For those of you that want to get engaged and basically hear your comments shared, I'm going to share them all anonymously. I'm not even going to say a first name, just to make sure that everybody's anonymous on here, going back to being a trusted resource. Let's interact. We would love to hear from you, and we're going to start checking in like this more often. So a final thought, I just want to thank everybody for your support over the last 5 years. I don't know how long ago it was, but we're over 30,000 downloads. And in 5 years, some people could look at that and be like, well, do the math, carry the 1, divide by 2, whatever. When I started this day one, I would be happy if 5 people listened to it. So the fact that we have coming up on, over 30,000 downloads, we're working towards that 50,000 download mark, honestly blows my mind. And thank you for sticking in there, because what we talked about earlier, like at the first of this thing, I wasn't, and frankly, I don't think I've polished it off completely yet, but I was very nervous and I was very antsy and I was insecure and I wasn't always very confident. And so thank you for coming along on the journey and sticking in there. And even if you just listened because your buddy was on or whatever, like, fantastic. Continue to listen, continue to share it. If you want to hear different topics, I'm open for it. The message is still the same. The intention in the message is still the same. Experience, strength, and hope. You get some free education every once in a while when we do topics or we pull articles, things like that. But the message and the intention is still the same. I don't care if I make $1 off doing this podcast, and I genuinely mean that. I really just want it to be a resource for people. I want to change the stigma and the shame around this thing. And frankly, I want to continue to connect with people that come on and are vulnerable and willing to share where they've been and what they did and what their life looks like now. So that's not going to change. A message to anybody who's still suffering, the addict's still suffering. You're not broken. I remember thinking that. I remember thinking, I am so broken. You're not. You're not broken. I don't care if you have past diagnoses. I get that all the time when people call in. I was diagnosed this and this and this. Let me re-diagnose you. You're a human being who's been through some stuff. That's it. You found a way to cope with drugs or alcohol. It's really not that complicated. You're a human being, man. You've gone through some experiences. And you're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. It starts with that phone call. And frankly, and again, so far I feel like all I've been doing is self-promoting, but I really do genuinely want to say you don't have to do this alone. If I feel like I've been self-promoting, it's entirely because I genuinely want to be able to help people. So don't hesitate to reach out, because you don't have to do this alone. I couldn't do this alone. I've shared that throughout past episodes on this podcast. If I had to do this thing alone, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be doing this today. And when I realized that, and I had that death of ego, that's when it all changed for me. When I was willing to do the things that I was unwilling to do before, is when everything changed for me. And frankly, you can't do it alone. We all have to, we recover better together. So, and you're not beyond help. You're not beyond help. There's a comment that I'm going to get to. I know I'm dragging it out, but I'm teasing you into the good stuff here. That says, well, what about if somebody's just down and out and broken, no insurance, homeless, et cetera, bro, that's my story. You're looking at that person. There's always hope. You're never beyond help. Frankly, when it stuck for me, I was felony on felony. I was on probation in Davis County, and I caught new felony charges in Salt Lake because I was out. I had been homeless for a period of time. I had no insurance. you know, I got some pretty bracelets from Salt Lake County PD, and they did not give me a bail. I was stuck in jail, and this isn't a pity story because I'm absolutely grateful for everything that happened to get me to this point today. But I just share that because it's not, you're never beyond help, ever. Frankly, I tried taking my own life in 2024 in 2014 because I felt like I was beyond help. It's never too late. Please write the reviews. If you've listened to this podcast, it means the world. Go give us a review. Let us know what you think. I'm not even going to ask you to give us 5 stars. Give us whatever you feel like we deserve. Even the people out there that maybe feel like we deserve 1 star, that's cool. You know, write us a review. Tell us how we can improve. I would love to hear from you. Feedback's always positive to me. It's never negative to me. And then share the episodes if you don't mind. Let's continue rolling on this thing. Okay, so we got about 17 minutes left here, Denovan. I'm going to get to some of these. Now, keep in mind, right, one of the cool things about doing this podcast for the last 5 years is that people who have listened to this podcast have now come on and been a guest on this podcast. We've been around for a minute, which is really cool. And frankly, some people who were in treatment now, when they listened to it, have come on and been guests. And so we've been around for a minute. Keep that in mind. And this is from all across the span. So the first one. Hey, Jared, I just wanted to say thank you. I stumbled onto your podcast during my second time in detox. I didn't think I could do this recovery thing, but hearing real people share their stories gave me hope. I've been clean about 7 years now, I think they meant. I've been clean about 7 months now, and I'm still listening every week. Please don't stop doing this. Amazing. Yeah, amazing. I would be interested to find out how that individual heard about it, like their second time in detox. So I know in detox, you're basically just waiting for the drugs to wear off. You're waiting for them to get out of your system, right? The whole goal of detox is to become biomedically stable. In other words, physically stable enough to where you're not going to die when you go through detox. And I'm not being exaggerating, right? With benzos and alcohol, you can absolutely die if you try detoxing with those two on your own. People think that you can die from an opiate withdrawal, but it's not. You'll wish you were dead for sure. But it's just cool that somebody in there, frankly, when you're just kind of sitting around killing time instead of playing video games or, you know, watching Netflix, it's cool that somebody gave us a recommendation and this individual gave us a shot and listened. And congratulations on the 7 months. I'm hoping, I have the date from this and it was back in 2021. So I'm hoping that it's no longer 7 months. I'm hoping it's some years now, but, yeah, thanks for writing us. Thanks for listening. And I have no intention of stopping doing this. You hear that, Denovan? We have to continue.
What?
Yeah, no quitting on me, guy.
Okay. Yes. Hooray.
All right. Number 2. I've been listening to your podcast for a while, and I'm not in recovery myself, but my younger brother is. I never knew what he was really going through. Man. I never knew what he was going through until I heard your episode with the guy who talked about using after his brother passed. Whew. Thank you for giving me perspective. Let me get a hold of myself for a second. The reason why that one hits home for me in a lot of different ways is I lost a brother. I lost a brother to this disease. And frankly, also the family, that's one of the hardest parts of this. You know, working as a counselor for the last 5 years, sitting down with people and having them share their pain and their suffering with me. 90% of it is around family. So the fact that this individual listened to an episode first of all, is amazing because he said himself, he's not in recovery himself. He probably doesn't have anything to do with this. At one point, he probably just thought that his, brother was making bad moral choices or whatever. That's part of the stigma out there. And the fact, number one, that he listened to it, and number two, that he was able to have appreciation for his brother and realize that if he lost his brother to the disease of addiction, it would be really hard. I wish I would have done this earlier, because I wish I would have responded, and I would love to have you, frankly, come on and tell that story with your brother, in whatever shape he's in today. And my hope is dating back on this, it's been a few years, is that he's in recovery now. And again, if you need a resource, call me. If he's still struggling, please reach out. 385-644-1500. I would love to be a resource if you still need it. Okay, Donovan, I'm not going to get emotional on this next one. Okay, not trying to hate. Okay, here we go. This will pull me out of it. Let's get it. But forcing people into treatment doesn't work. You can't make someone get clean. I think it's a waste of resources when there are people who want help and can't get a bed. So I know exactly what episode that was from. That was from the episode where we talked about Canada looking at making treatment mandatory for individuals who have criminal charges that relate to substance abuse. And listen, thanks for sharing. I don't think you're hating. I don't think you're hating at all. I couldn't agree more with you. Part of me talking about being a resource that I'm very direct with people on is I have no interest in forcing somebody into doing something that they don't want to do. It doesn't work that way. Sure, if somebody starts off with 10% internal motivation and 90% external motivation, there is that possibility that through the process and through getting the chemicals and the poison out of their system and getting their brain back on board, that internal motivation will increase. You're looking at somebody that literally happened. And so I get it. And I agree with you. The fact that there are people who are 100% internally motivated and having a hard time getting a bed, it's sad. I agree with you. So don't feel like you're hating, because I concur. I completely agree with you. And at the same time, I can step out of that perception and gain some perspective that there are people out there like me who frankly was forced to go to treatment, and it worked. The internal motivation increased. And so, yeah, I get it. And thank you for your comment. Yeah. Don't ever feel like you're hating like that. Some of the ones that didn't make it on this list they were not as kind as you. So yeah, thanks for writing in. We appreciate you taking the time to do that. Okay. The next one here. Why is it that all your guests talk about God or faith? What if I'm not religious? Is there still a place for me in recovery? I'm just trying to ask an honest question. Yeah. And the answer is yes. Absolutely. I've worked with people in the past 5 years that are atheist, agnostic, absolutely. There's a whole program out there called Smart Recovery that's literally just about making logical choices. There's a whole modality out there, MRT, that's about, happiness is a byproduct of the choices that you make. None of that stuff talks about God or faith. And so, yeah, contact me. For sure that there's room for people who get put out or pushed, get repelled by that. For sure. Don't let that be a barrier to you. Don't let that be a barrier to you. Again, the resources I would give you, and this is a more recent one, so I I hope you're still listening. I hope that you listen to this episode, and particularly is there's smart recovery out there. Buddhism is not a religion. It's a philosophical way of living. And there's Dharma. So there's smart recovery. There's Dharma. There's definitely some resources out there. Russell Brand wrote a book where he did his version of the 12 steps, and it doesn't mention God or faith or anything in there one time. So there are definitely avenues for you. Thanks for writing, and I appreciate it. Okay. Next one. Love the episode where you and Dr. Sellers trash talked about each other's golf games. Okay. I laughed so hard I almost had to pull the car over. Recovery needs more of that kind of energy. You guys make healing entertaining. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what episode that was. I've been chasing Sellers in golf for a minute, man.
I think it's been every episode that Terry shows up that you guys talk about golf.
Okay.
Every episode that Terry's here.
You hear the feedback I'm getting from Donovan?
Golf. And Terry shows up like some sort of neon ping pong ball when he walks in. It's like this bright green,
That's my dude.
Bright pink, purple, whatever. Socks are just like some sort. I mean, if he was colorblind, it would be like all gray. But anyways.
Yeah, no, I get it. And that's part of our recovery today, you know, that connection. It's having something in common. It's getting out with other people and then coming back and talking about it. I'm not sure what episode specifically it was where we were trash talking each other's golf game. I know for sure I've been chasing the guy for a while. I don't want to bore people to death, but Terry's a pretty good golfer. Like, I hope he doesn't listen to this because I don't want to give him that compliment. But especially after golfing at Black Desert with him, man, he was trash talking me bad. Like, I was having a bad day, and he just talk about kicking man when he was down. But it's all in good. He was in good spirits, and he was feeling himself. And I actually technically have beaten Terry one time now. So
is that over at Fiesta Fun? You got it through the windmill first?
No, check it out. It was at Sky Mountain, and he was so cold that he didn't want to play. And I'm like, Terry, we've already paid. We're here. We're playing, dude.
Wait. You beat him because he sat out?
No. He played. He played, and I know he's gonna balk at this, but he'd also just gotten brand new irons. He'd never swung one time. Like, all the elements lined up just beautifully for me to beat him. And so, yeah. So anyways, we won't spend too much time on that.
Take the win, man. Take the win. It's all good.
Thank you. Okay, next one. Hey, Jared, I run a small outpatient program in Arizona. Right on. I used to live in Arizona. I love Arizona. And have been listening to the show for a couple years. Any chance you'd ever do an episode? Here we go. Now we're talking. Any chance you'd ever do an episode on how to keep clients engaged past 60 days? Would love your take or guest suggestions. Yeah. Okay. She's a clinical director. Right on. Cool. Love that. Keeping clients engaged after 60 days. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because typically they come in very, very broken, right? They're like a wet sponge that you got to wring out emotionally. You got to get them physically stable. You got to start to reintegrate them back into the community and provide resources for them to have a chance at gaining independence and finding purpose to sustain their recovery. I would say this. I don't know if you're connected to a residential treatment, but one of the things definitely to take into consideration, I was over 2 facilities. I was over residential and outpatient in my last professional gig. If you're doing the same thing in outpatient that you were doing in residential, it's going to be tough to keep them engaged. You got to change up the programming, and frankly, if they're sitting in a room for more than 2 days for 4 hours a day, you got to find some recreational, you got to find some, it's like our sponsors, Wasatch Crest, mentioned, you got to find some type of adventure therapy or something to really get them out and get them moving and get them, get those endorphins and stuff going. The other thing too is reminding them, reminding them like almost a reflection assignment, reminding them of what it was like 60 days ago. A lot of treatments last way longer than 60 days. So keeping them engaged longer is, frankly, you got to kind of change up the programming. And I always find clients do better when they're working on assignments, right? And in an outpatient, that's a lot harder because they're finding a place to live, they're finding resources. But yeah, let's do a whole episode on that. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but we will do an episode on that because I would love other people's perspectives. Okay, the last one. Or no, sorry, the next one. I've been in and out of treatment 6 times. I listened to your podcast and wonder how many people really stayed clean. It's inspiring, but is it realistic? Okay. Yeah, I think good question. I know for sure. I know of some people that haven't. I'll give you that. Like, just because you come on the podcast and you share your experience, strength, and hope doesn't mean that you're not susceptible to relapsing, for sure. I would just remind you that this isn't like it's a disease, because disease are classified as incurable. Like, we all live with this. We all live with a higher potential to become addicted again and relapse again. And so, fair question. Like, I ain't mad at you. I get it. I know a lot of people are doing really well. I know a lot of people are solid in their recovery. And one of the things that I found is when you stay close to the environment, when you're working a program, when you're getting out with people and playing crappy golf and teasing each other on a podcast about it, you're much more likely to have success. Again, you don't have to do this alone, and I wouldn't suggest doing it alone. Thank you for writing in. Jared, I was on your podcast back in 2021. Just wanted to say I'm still clean. I got married last year, and I'm sponsoring 2 guys now. Your podcast helped me find my voice. Wow, I love that. Your podcast helped me find my voice. Forever grateful. Absolutely. Next one, my daughter, congratulations. That's amazing. All the life events, all the life goals, that's amazing. Last one, my daughter is 19 and struggling with fentanyl. I don't know what to do. I listened to your episode with the mom who lost her son, and I'm terrified. Can you help me figure out where to start? Absolutely. Go to Al-Anon, go to Nar-Anon, go to a family support group, reach out and contact me. Those are all great places to start. Frankly, the change has to start with you, and a lot of families don't like hearing that, but it really does. It's not your fault. You didn't create it. You can't cure it, but you're contributing in some form or some way. Man, I had like 10 others that I didn't even get to. Those are kind of cool. Was it a snooze fest?
Yeah, it was good. As you were going through them, I was trying to remember who was on which one.
I know, and maybe next time we'll try to wrap that in. Guys, I did it. I successfully did a podcast by myself that we're actually going to put on the air. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. All the love. Till next time.
Thank you for joining us today on We Do Recover with Jared Miller.
Help us spread our message of hope. Like, comment, and share.
If you have any topics or ideas for future shows, please share that on our Facebook page.
That Facebook page is We Do Recover with Jared Miller. If you or a loved one needs help, please reach out to us. Again, thank you for listening.
Brought to you by Diamond Detox, Wasatch Crest, Team Recovery, Rise Up Subs, and the Hilton Garden Inn. This has been a production from A Podcast Studio.